Hey, friends. This is Martine Williams, and I am obsessed with all things mompreneur life and helping you to remix your priorities, your habits, your mindsets, and yes, even your relationships so that you can build a successful business without losing yourself in the process. I'm also obsessed with the color turquoise and lyrics of the 80s and 90s, but that's beside the point. Girlfriend, you don't have to hustle 24/7, 365 and continue to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your sanity to be a successful mompreneur. As a small town girl living in a lonely world to a six-figure mompreneur, I am here to teach you how. There is a better way, and this podcast is your one-stop shop for all of the how-tos, the encouragement, the life hacks, the success tips, and of course, a little side of tough love. This is the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. So let's do this. Welcome back, friends, to the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. I'm your host, Martine Williams, your CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And how is it August already? Like, this has been the fastest and for sure the hottest summer that I can remember in a really, really long time. And we have like 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks before we move Lucas into college. And deep breath, because it's going to be an interesting season. You know, I'm really, really excited for him. And I remember my college years were just some of my best years. And so I'm really looking forward to that for him and all the things he's going to experience. But he's the lively one. He's, you know, the energetic one in the house. So it's going to be a little quiet around here without him. So y'all can definitely throw up some prayers for this mama as we go through this new season in life. And some of you have like been there, done that, and you're sending me so much encouragement and love. And I truly, truly appreciate you. And others of you are on the same journey with me. So we can do hard things, friends, and we will get through this too. So today's episode is just me. It's a solo episode. And I want to spend some time today as we move into, you know, out of summer where maybe you didn't work as hard, or maybe you put goals on pause, or just really were not focusing so much, you know, on business or personal goals, just really just trying to enjoy the summer. I know for me, I have had goals, but I've also been very flexible and gracious with myself, knowing that I just want to spend this time with Lucas. And, you know, I know he's going to be going away and I'll have more time to focus on some of these other things. So I guess I really want to like give you grace if that's been you this summer. And maybe right now you're beating yourself up because you haven't done more. You haven't been more productive. You haven't produced more in your business or in your health and fitness goals or relationship, whatever it is that you're beating yourself up about. Learn to be okay with the different seasons that you go through and the different pace that is required to be in that season and to be able to look back and say, gosh, I really enjoyed this summer. Like, yes, there were more goals in my business that I wanted to accomplish this summer, but my number one goal really this whole year was Lucas in the senior year and just really trying to enjoy these times with him. So now we're kind of closing out summer. I know you're like, summer's not over yet, Martine, and it's not, but it's wrapping up, right? Like, I got the email today from the school to order lunches, and I'm like, how are we here already? So you're going to be starting to kind of get back into that flow, get back into that routine. And so I really wanted to spend some time today just talking about the power in operating in your strengths. Not just from an entrepreneur standpoint, but also as a mom, as a wife, and truly knowing your true strengths. You may have an idea of what they are, but I have found over the years coaching women for 16 years that we tend to see our weaknesses and focus on those more than we do on our strengths. And we don't truly understand how to know them and how to utilize them to optimize our performance. So, you know, being a mompreneur requires juggling and multitasking, and it's easy to get caught up in trying to be good at everything, right? You're trying to be good at everything and neglecting your strengths. But knowing your strengths and operating them is going to make it's just essential for success in all the areas, because comparison is real. And when you're trying to be the best version of someone else, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for growing your business. It doesn't work for how you want to show up as a mom. As I'm preparing Lucas for college and I'm in this parent group, and it's just really interesting to see the different dynamics of parenting that I know are out there, but to see like some that are like trying to take care of every little detail, so that their child is, fully taken care of at college. And there are others that are like, they're going to figure it out. You don't need to do all this stuff for them. And then there are those of us who are kind of somewhere in the middle. But knowing your strengths and how you operate is just going to be one of the most freeing things. It's one of the things I hear my clients say the most. They just feel so freed up to truly be who God created them to be, so they can do the things that God is calling them to do from a place of strength and not from a place of comparison, from a place of clarity and not from a place of like chaos and confusion. To have the courage now to stand firm and stand excited and celebrate the uniqueness of their strengths. So when you focus on your strengths, you become more productive. You're able to complete tasks faster, with less effort, with better quality. And this means you can achieve more in less time. And I know that's what we try to do, right? As mompreneurs, like we're trying to just do a lot of things and get them done with less time, which leaves you more time to focus on other areas of your business or your personal life, right? So if you're in the zone, you're focusing on your strengths, you're going to be more productive. You're also going to have more confidence. You're going to have more confidence because when you're doing something you're good at, you feel confident and capable, right? But if you're focusing and trying to like be someone you're not, operate your business in a way that you see someone else doing. This is why maybe you have purchased a program or you're following someone on social and you're trying to do exactly what you see the other person doing. It works for them because it's in alignment probably with their personality, with their strengths. And this is where we take things personal and where we're like, well, it worked for them, but it didn't work for me because we're so unique. And it's similar to like different diet nutrition plans, how it's not a one size fits all. And why we think it is because we all have different DNA. We all have a different chemical makeup. So finding out and actually taking the time to figure out what works for you takes time. Understanding what your true strengths are and operating in those may take time because you're mentally been thinking about all the things you're not good at, but that you should be good at. Keyword there, should be, because you see someone else that's able to do it in that way. And so when you operate from a place of strength, you have more confidence, and that spills over into all the other areas, helping you to take on new challenges and new opportunities. When I first really kind of got into understanding what my true strengths are, it really did help me to see that's why I was feeling so burnt out, or that's why, my business looks a little different in the way that I do it as someone else, but very successful. Two different people can be very successful and run their business and grow their business in different ways and still be successful. But it's more joyful when you're able to do it from a place of your strengths, and it boosts your confidence. When you know, like, this is my strength, then you just show up different. You show up different in your business. You show up different in your relationships. And just a really important thing for you to understand what those are. It also allows you to delegate tasks that you're not good at. So just as important it is to know what you're good at and what your strengths are, to really like humble yourself and leave your ego at the door to be able to say, like, I'm not Superwoman and this is not my strength, and maybe I need to delegate this out. It allows you to build a team of people who complement your strengths and weaknesses, creating a more well-rounded business. So for example, when I first took the ProScan, and I've always known a big strength of mine is people. Like, I love being around people. I easily connect with people. People connect with me. I'm relatable. Like, people know without me even having to really spend a lot of time with them that I truly care about them and I want to help them succeed. But to be a CEO and to be the owner of your own business, which, for a while there was running two businesses. It requires you to have some of those CEO qualities, which require a little bit higher in dominance of personality and more directness and assertiveness and casting, the visionary and all of that. And That is not my strength. My strength is more of the supportive role. And it was really eye-opening to me because it doesn't mean that I can't be that CEO. I've been that CEO for over 16 years now, between my 31 business and now my coaching and speaking business. But it just requires a lot of energy for me to become that person. So I had to kind of decide, am I going to surround myself with people who have the higher dominance, bring those people onto my team? And I'm very intentional about that because I want their strengths to complement mine, right? I don't need someone else on my team necessarily that their superpower is people. I will want that eventually, but right now, I need someone who has more of those CEO direct qualities, higher dominance, lead the charge, take charge trait, because that complements my strengths. So when you know these are my strengths, and you're also able to say, these are not mine. And how can I surround myself with people who have those? Not spending time trying to get better at those necessarily, but how can you surround yourself with people who it just is natural for them to take charge, or whatever it is, your personality that you think is that you see as a weakness? How can you delegate that out? So knowing and operating in your strengths is crucial for your success as a mompreneur. It allows you to be more productive, confident, and effective in your business and your personal life. So I want you to take some time and reflect on your strengths and how you can leverage them in your business, how you can leverage them in the goals that you have set, maybe for this fall, maybe for this year, maybe you run your year around the school year. How can you leverage? Are you leveraging? Are you operating daily within your strengths? Or are all you seeing is your weaknesses? Or are all you seeing is how you should be like someone else? You were uniquely designed on purpose and for a purpose. And when you're operating in your strengths, it is going to be so much more joyful, so much more productive. And this doesn't mean you're not going to have bumps in the road. It doesn't mean it's still not going to require work. Growing a business requires work. Having a successful marriage requires work. Having successful parenting requires work. So I'm not saying that, but you can come from a place of your strengths. And maybe this is the first time you've really thought about it in that way. And you've heard me talk about off and on, if you're following me on social, and I've talked about it here on the podcast too, but the power of the ProScan and why the ProScan plus coaching equals breakthroughs. This is why, because when you fully understand who you are and how you operate and how you communicate and what your leadership style is, how you make decisions, and to what degree each of these personality traits is present for you, it just accelerates your results. You have breakthroughs because you're more confident. And when you have more confidence, you take more action, period. And you're able to stop the comparison that you have when you're looking at other mompreneurs and what they're doing. So I want to share with you just a little bit more detail on what the ProScan is and how it's going to work for you, and why it's the tool that I've decided to use to help my coaching clients. So it's not a test. No one likes to take a test. It's a survey, a personal performance and personality survey that accurately reveals who you are and helps you to celebrate your uniqueness. It's scientifically valid, it's statistically reliable, and it doesn't label you. It doesn't label you a number, a color, an animal. It doesn't put you in a box with everyone else. It's literally as unique to you as your fingerprint. And my favorite part is that it captures who you are, but also how you're being or how you're doing, operating in your strengths in real time. How is that actually impacting your real life results right now? Are you operating in your strengths? Are you feeling stretched out of who you naturally are to achieve a task? Is that good or is that bad? This is where burnout comes in. When, for example, me being kind of a lower dominant personality, but as a CEO, I said that earlier, I had to kind of dial that up. So it takes a lot of energy for me to become a more dominant person. So on the days that I have more CEO responsibilities, I have to know that it's going to require a lot of more energy of me, and it's going to drain my energy. And so what can I do to refuel my energy at the end of that day? Or what do I need to do the day before to kind of prepare, knowing, okay, This is going to require a lot more thought, a lot more energy of me to be more in that CEO role. And so that's why it's really important to understand, or why I love the ProScan, because it shows you the degree in which each of these personality traits, so there's 4: dominance, extroversion, pace, and conformity, what degree of those are actually present in your personality. And again, the degree at which that personality is present helps to understand how adaptable you are in that personality trait and how much energy it's going to require on the days that maybe you need to become more extroverted or less extroverted. For me to become less extroverted, it takes a lot of energy because I love people and I feed off of the energy with people. It also shows you how to adapt your strengths when under pressure. When you're feeling pressured to be, again, less extroverted or more dominant, like how to adapt in that personality to achieve that goal. How are your strengths working for you? Are you under stress, positive stress to get you to the next goal? These are all things that are going to show up on your ProScan. And this is why it's not intended to take like one time. It's not a one and done personality performance survey. It's something that you could take 6 months from now and we may get different results, especially in that real-time functionality piece of the ProScan. And hopefully it would be an improvement, because we want you to operate not in your natural strengths. And so those are the things that we kind of coach around. Okay, this is where you are. This is how you're operating right now. How's that working for you? And then we make the adjustments that need to be made. It is backed by 40 years of research, and it's the most scientifically valid survey for measuring the strengths of who you are that I've seen. I've taken all the other ones and I'm not throwing shade at any of the other ones. I think whichever one works the best for you. For me, this one was the most accurate. Wow, that is totally me. And that real piece, that real time insights gave me so much and still gives me so much information on how I'm actually doing and where some of that stress may be coming from. It's what allows me to have that highly customizable approach to coaching with my clients, because I know how you think. I know how you make your decisions. I know what your natural tendencies are. So for example, one of my clients does not love structure. She does not love, she likes to be more free and flexible in her calendar, or just in general. She just wants to be able to do what she wants, when she wants, and how she wants. And that's that's how she operates. We need people, right? That can be free thinkers and big picture thinkers and, kind of think outside of the box. But some of the goals that she wants to achieve while working together is going to require her to be more system, more routine, more structure around her day. And so it's just really cool to be able to see that so that I can tailor the coaching to her, right? Okay. So it also is going to show the energy, style, and capacity that you have. This is a really big piece for mompreneurs, because you are a mompreneur and you're trying to juggle all the things and be the great wife, be the great mom, be the great business owner. And you can be. It's not one or the other. It's a both and. You can be. But when you know your strengths, your true strengths, and maybe some of your unique challenges, this is what will help to understand your capacity. We all have limits, friends. We all have limits. And it's important for you to know your limits, how much energy capacity you have, what's draining your energy, and some ProScan will show you. And then how can you make sure that you're not running on E? Because when you get to the E, you have a backup personality that shows up. Every single one of us has a backup style that shows up, and the ProScan will share that with you. It's always very interesting to go over that. And the goal is to not get there, right? We don't want to get on E, but some of us have a higher capacity to do multiple things. I have a very large, I like to call it gas tank. So I have a very large gas tank. I can do lots of things. This is why when I was leading a large team, some of my team members would be like, how do you do all the things you do? Even today, people, how do you do all the things that you do? Well, I have the capacity to do it. Some of you don't have the same capacity as me, and that's okay. You need to know that about yourself. You need to know what your limits are. Now, for someone who has a large gas tank like I do, guess what? It's going to require me, it's going to take a lot longer to fill my tank up. So I need to make sure that when I find myself getting drained, when I'm in that CEO role that I told you earlier, that really does kind of drain me, What am I doing to put more fuel in my tank? What am I doing to re-energize, to refuel? And it's going to take me a little bit longer. If I let myself get to eat, it's going to take a while. And so giving myself time to refuel and not feel guilty when I'm not constantly producing, constantly going. Do you see how having this knowledge about yourself will free you up from saying yes to everything? Because you just don't have the capacity. It doesn't mean that you're being mean. It doesn't mean that you don't want to help these people. But what it means is you have limits. And I think we've gotten to this place, especially in the mompreneur culture, hustle, hustle, hustle at the sacrifice of everything, because one day you'll get there, right? One day you'll get there, and that there never doesn't happen. Or when you get there, you look back and your health is in like dire straits. Your relationships have crumbled because you have not honored your limits and your capacity. This also has helped me with understanding my kids' capacity and their energy and how they operate and how they, achieve tasks, and to give them a little bit more grace because they don't have the same capacity of energy as I do. And so when I see them not doing things and not being productive, I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? Have you ever said that to someone? You're like, why are you being so lazy? Well, they may not be being lazy. They might be, but it could be they just don't have the same capacity as you. So your expectations of them are what you're expecting of yourself based on what your capacity is. And that's just unfair to do that to others. It's also unfair for other people to do that to you. So to know your limits, to honor your limits, and respect the limits of others is something that you will see and learn when you have your ProScan. Another piece is decision making. This is another piece we go through, and this is really important, especially if you're married, because how you make a decision and how your spouse may make a decision can be completely different. And sometimes that causes some friction, right? Because you're like, I need to know all the details before we can make a decision. I need to know all the details, all the facts. The other person may be like, you know what? It just feels right. I trust my gut, and we're going to make a decision here. And you make a decision. Two very different styles. Some of you have a balance of both, but I want you to think back to the last decision that you made and see if you can see where you like, yep, feels right, just moving forward. Or was it like you had to have all the details before you made that decision? Maybe you're sitting in the land of indecision right now because it either doesn't feel right or you need more facts. Not right or wrong. There are no right or wrong profiles on the ProScan. It's just who you are and how you naturally operate. All right, communication style, how you like to be communicated to, how you expect other people to communicate to you. Communication, if you're in any relationship with anyone, you need to know what your communication style is and how you want others to communicate to you. Because again, a lot of arguments and disagreements come from lack of communication or how it's being communicated. You're like, I said that, but they didn't hear you, right? Because it wasn't communicated in the way that they desired to hear it, and vice versa. How are you doing within your strengths, that real-time functionality piece, energy drain, your satisfaction, like all of these things? So it's not just, when you hear me talk about knowing your strengths, it's not just like, oh, I'm extroverted. Oh, those are the big pieces of it, but there's so many other details that make you and what makes you uniquely amazing. And when we're not operating in those strengths, that's where you start feeling stress and strain. And sometimes you feel like, what's the point? Because you've gotten to this burnout state of trying to be someone else, trying to follow someone else's method or someone else's system that's just not working for you. And it's because you have different strengths of personality, maybe from that other person. So I could talk about it for another hour, but I'm not going to do that. I would love to give you the opportunity to experience the ProScan. You have heard me talk about a clarity call. Clarity calls are not just me talking about what I'm doing and how I can help you. It's really a gift to yourself. Jumping on a clarity call is you and me for an hour. We are going to identify 3 things that are keeping you stuck, 3 belief systems probably that are just not serving you to get closer to your goals. And then what are your next steps? Everybody has a next step and 100% responsibility for your next step. You got to stop sitting around waiting for someone to come along and rescue. You need to take the actions. And maybe your first step is getting on a clarity call so you can just get some clarity around, where am I? where do I want to go and how am I going to get there? So those are the things that we're going to talk about on a clarity call. It is truly a gift to you, a gift to yourself, to treat yourself with that 1 hour focused in on that. And maybe that's the first thing you need to do moving forward. Yes, I'll tell you about the ProScan. Yes, I'll tell you about, how we can work together. But my goal for you at the end of that call is to help you to make a confident, informed decision on what your next step is and where you want to go and how you're going to get there. So I hope this episode was really helpful for you to just get you thinking about, okay, when you think about what you're doing every single day, are you operating from a place of strength or are you operating from a place of comparison and weakness? Are you trying to make your weaknesses stronger or are you dialed in? This is my strength and this is how I'm going to utilize this to optimize my performance and get the results that I want. Really makes the journey of mompreneur life so much more joyful, and it will accelerate your results. It will accelerate your results. So if you have questions, you can feel free to find me on Instagram at Martine31Williams. You can hop on that clarity call. I really challenge you to do that because it's just a great gift to give to yourself. And y'all know that I am believing in you always, and I will catch you on the next episode. Hey, friend. So you have been trying to make some shifts this year. Maybe you set some resolutions and you're just feeling stuck. You don't feel like you're making progress, or you're just not sure what to do. And you've heard me say this before, but being stuck is a mindset, not a position. And this is where a coach comes in to support you. Because here's what I know to be true about you, friend. If you could have done it alone, you would have already done it, period. And as a life coach and a certified PDP professional, I specialize in using a research-based personality and performance survey called the ProScan to illuminate how your unique personality and natural strengths, your work and life environments are influencing real-time performance. So here's what you need to do. Go to the link in the show notes and book your free clarity call to learn more about how I can support you in your goals. I can't wait to illuminate your strengths, cultivate your confidence, and elevate your life. Well, that's a wrap, friends, for this week's episode of the Mompreneur Life Remixed podcast. Thank you so much for listening and for following the show. It means so much to me. And listen, friend, sharing is caring. So if you loved this episode and thought of some fellow mompreneurs who could benefit, send them the link. Share this episode or take a screenshot and head on over to Instagram and share and tag me at Martine31Williams. We are connected on Instagram, right? It's where you will get all the fun behind the scenes of my life and business as a mompreneur. Until next time, know that I am believing in you always.